Hello,
Hello, hello, hi,
hello. Good morning.
good evening. You know what that reminds me of?
What?
That reminds me of the Truman Show.
Oh, what did they do in the Truman Show?
In case I don't see you, good morning. In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now. Oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah,
yeah, I was watching it the other day. Yeah, it's a good, it's an interesting film.
yeah. I love the idea of it. I definitely. Is my video frozen to you?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I know it's out. Hold on, I'm gonna stop video, then initiate video. It'll work. My computer's been very strange lately. Hello.
Hello?
Okay, it's not as
There.
good of a camera, but it works.
Okay.
All right, cool. It's a good thing I have a backup computer.
Oh, you have a backup computer?
Yeah,
Nice.
it's gonna sound a little different. It's not gonna be as cool, but you know what? We'll make it work.
Yeah, no, you do.
Pieces. All
There's a
right.
there's a hue around you, which is fine.
Good. Good. It's good to have a hue. um, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Today has been a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good day. I've gone through some transformation in the last few months, which has been very revealing about well, it's been revealing for me about my own self, and which has been a good thing. It's been a time of inward realization or sort of self-realization in a way. And all of a sudden, all those songs around you, start to resonate within you, and I've been listening to Lenny Kravitz, you know, I never listened to Lenny Kravitz. It's just that, those songs are like it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. All the what was the what's that one song? Oh, if
Which one? Oh shit, I can't hear you.
oh God, I don't know what's now this computer is glitching out. It's so I have no idea what's going on.
I can hear you
Like
now. I can hear you
th-
now.
this is insane. My computer is totally freaking out. This is my this is the other computer. Okay. Can you hear
Mhm.
me now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anyways, that song that's like if you want it, you got it. You just have to believe. Believe in yourself. Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's all just a dream. We just want to be loved. I love that line.
Is that the Lenny Kravitz song?
Yeah, it's Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean that's. I was thinking because you sort of somehow in fiction you get caught up in cryptic in the cryptic things of life. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, when something strikes you in a powerful manner, like the root, the foundation of humanity is just plain and simple,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just like you hear words that are just like you just said, which are just right there, and there's nothing really maybe poetic or whatever. There's no layers or multiple. It's just pure. I don't
Yeah.
know. I love it.
Yeah.
At least when it at a right moment, that's what life is all about, right?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I mean, uh what do you call it? Hold on a second. Great. Hold on one second. I have no idea what's happening right now. This is the most insane thing. It's like trying to have an amazing conversation. Can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So
It's
you're
fine.
still there. I'm trying to get rid of. This is very strange. Either I've been hacked but it's impossible on two different computers. my computer just like it just keeps bringing up tabs, like I'm not pressing anything, and like things just keep
Oh,
flying open.
oh, it's lagging. There's a virus, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It's very it's very frustrating because I just, oh my God. All right, I have an iPad. I'm going to call back on an iPad, and this better work. This is gonna work. Okay.
Okay,
Sometimes
yeah.
you got to fight for things you believe in.
No, three is the magic number, right?
I know, totally. Yeah, if I can't even close the app. Anyways, I'll see you in a moment.
All right.
Let's see how long this lasts. Jesus Christ. It's the dumbest. It's You have an idea. This entire last week,
Mm-hmm.
all of my technology, like anything network related, computer, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and I know that people talk about, what do they call it? The something return, or not Saturn return, but the other astrological thing about technology not working. I forget. Whatever. Anyways, people were mentioning that it's that time, and I'm like, I don't really, subscribe to it necessarily, but it is really weird that this entire week, inexplicable things between my car computer, my cell phones,
Wow.
3 laptops, another laptop, wireless, or any wireless connection, VR headsets, like everything is just failing. It's really weird, and inexplicably too, like ghost things happening, and screens turning on and off. It's very weird. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, but it probably has a. I don't. I mean, I don't think it has a mystic, a mystic context. I think there is
yeah,
something. There is something happening regarding technology and just
yes,
and I don't know. There's a disruption of something happening in the world.
yes. I think so. I think it's. I mean, it was really strange. You were talking about. I was with actually a friend of mine named. She's from France. She's from Marseille, and
Hmm.
she. We were. We were. I don't know. I mean, I say her name, but maybe we scratch her name. But anyways, we were making love, and every time things would get really excited, the Bluetooth connection would go out. Like every time, it like happened, like probably like 4 times or something like that. This was a while ago, but it was like it was an interesting thing. So I guess the reason why I bring that up is because I wonder if electrical fields have anything to do with it. Sometimes, uh,
Yeah.
you know, because we
There's a
do emit.
well, yeah. There's a passion. There's an energy. There is yeah. It's all energy, man. That's isn't that what they all say? It's like if there is a if there's a even making love. I think from a scientific point of view, there's a strong chemistry. There's it's an electric current that is being transmitted through, what do they call it? The newest addition, mirroring cells, where
Oh, right.
there's a,
Yes.
they've found these cells in the body they're called mirror cells or something, and that they actually mirror emotions and mirror
Wow.
stuff. Is like, and I don't know. I think there are fields of energy that haven't been defined yet.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and
Uh,
anything regarding the brain, I was talking about this in an after party on Saturday.
yeah.
Uh, a pretty good after party was in the morning here in Reykjavik in Iceland. I'm in
Oh,
Iceland.
you're in Iceland. Nice.
That's where I live.
Cool.
I'm in Reykjavik. I'm from Iceland. And
Dope.
we and there was so basically I'm not there is do you know that song by Led Zeppelin, and that what's it called? Welcome to the land of ice and snow with the
Uh,
midnight sun and the
yeah.
heartbreak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that basically is a song about Iceland, because where the heart, where the hot springs flow and the midnight sun, blah blah something,
Yeah.
and they are at a gig in 1969, and wrote this song because they were inspired by the country. So basically, right now we're having Midsummer's Night Stream. There's the peakest moment of the sun. So basically, right now it's 9 o'clock and the sun is out, and in the nighttime it's just completely sunny all the time, and the sky goes like all purpley, and there's these endless colors that arise. It's a bit trippy actually.
Yeah.
And so basically there was a rave, sort of a pop-up rave in the middle of town. Like, yeah, it was cool. A friend of mine who's a DJ and he's a promoter, and he's actually a kind of a tech running a tech company.
Yeah.
And we were and he this weekend he sort of like, I'm gonna make a pop-up rave. So he got a pair of speakers, a good pair of speakers, and him and his friend, they just posted it on Instagram or something like that. And
Yeah.
because it's COVID and all the restaurants, all the bars, they close at 11.
Yes.
So basically they put up a rave in the middle of town at this sort of this site where there's this famous statue. It's basically in the center of town.
Yeah.
You know,
Like the town square.
yeah, like sort of a town square kind of thing, but it's like
Yeah.
a little park basically on a hill, and it sort of outlooks everything. You can see the mountains around, and the
Nice.
sunset. Basically, it's beautiful place, beautiful place. So they set it up there. This art called Arnar Holl, and
Yeah.
so basically there was a rave, a lot of fun. People from they saw it on Instagram. They all summoned up there in some sort of a rite of spring kind of vibe, and
Yeah.
the cops came at like 2:30, and then we went back to his apartment, and it was just a few people, but these two young girl and boy, they were scientists basically. They were sort of raving
Oh, nice.
like techno loving neuroscientists.
Sick.
And like really clever, and they started going, like they were so clever. Like I was mesmerized how articulate and just their mechanics of thought, they were just so impressive. And they started talking about the mind and just the brain itself, and just they were basically sort of master students or something like that. And they were just they were the reason why they were so attracted to neuroscience, because they said there's so much mystery about the brain.
Yeah.
So I can imagine when you say you were making love to the woman, and the Bluetooth connection sort of popped up or whatever.
Yeah.
There is nothing that should tell us that doesn't correlate with each other.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're completely right about that, because it's definitely, their electrical signals are measurable, from, I mean, like certain photography, like, there's like auric photography and stuff like that, but there's like more scientific ways of picking up electrical signals that are emitted from the body, and they go to a certain distance, but if they're close and they entangle and then they amplify or re-amplify and things like that, or cause these different types of frequencies, then it seems possible. So anyways, I forgot to ask your name. What was your name?
My name is Högni.
Högni.
Högni, that's it. Högni.
Okay, Högni. My name is Reggie.
Reggie, nice to meet you, Reggie.
Nice to meet you, man. Yeah, I've spent some time in Reykjavik, like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 times there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's quite a lot then.
Yeah, I mean, well, growing up, my mother's French, and we would go to France, and we would always go through Iceland. So we go through Reykjavik, but that doesn't count. But I remember first going there, and then I think the first time I came to Reykjavik was, I think I have a friend there. She has a radio show there. Her name's Margaret Mack.
Yeah, Magamok.
Yeah, Moki. Yeah.
He's a friend of mine too. We have a communal friend. That's awesome.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. So she brought me there the first time, and it was amazing. And then I think I did a comedy special, or not comedy special, comedy festival there, which was very insane because it's like comedy in Iceland. It's tough. It's not very big, you know.
No, it's
But
very weird. I've gone. There's a comedy club actually. You know, for a city of 150,000, there's a wide spectra of entertainment and things to do here. There's a comedy club, and my friend who actually is from New York as well. No, sorry, you're not from New York. Why do I suspect you're from New York? Are
well,
you?
I lived in New York for 13 years. That's where I met Moki.
That's
Yeah.
what I think. Yeah, because she goes to New York. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But I suppose because you said good morning before, you are probably somewhere on the West
Oh,
Coast.
yes. I always say good morning. It's a bad habit.
Ah, okay, I see. Well, anyway, um, he came to Iceland because he fell in love with an Icelandic woman, and
Yes.
I brought him to this sort of little comedy club called the Comedy Basement. And he was, because it's in English, it's a comedy club that is in English, and he was
Right.
just like, this is the weirdest type of comedy I've ever seen. It was like, it was so weird. There was nothing funny about it, which was what made it so, like, there was a different, it was a different, it was like the underworld of comedy.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's I would love to see that because I can't really remember it because the club that we had it in, it was almost like it was a nightclub.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it was kind of weird to have. I mean, you see comedies all the time in the United States, but this was kind of a big club. It was like looked like it had like a couple levels around the room,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it was like a proper nightclub. So we were doing comedy there, which was very odd, and and not everybody speaks fluent English,
Yeah.
and so I'm doing comedy in English, and I know probably 70% of everybody is just like, I don't know, like they don't know what's
Yeah.
going on, but
And you make a joke or punchline, and people
yeah.
are like,
Yeah, totally. Just very little reaction, or they're laughing at things that aren't supposed to be funny, But I mean, I don't mind it. I always try to find a way to communicate with people, no matter what, because you can use physical humor, and I use music in my act, so I will have music moments, and I think the music definitely brings people together, and I think that that works. But I mean, it was just a trip. It was so strange that they were putting together a comedy festival, and even the guys throwing it, they're like, I don't know I don't know if any of this will work, but we're doing it. So but I mean, it was really great to be there though, and so I've had really good times in Reykjavik.
yeah, nice. I mean, it is a beautiful town, and I mean, it's a, yeah, I mean, especially in the summertime, it's beautiful, and the light sort of transforms people in a way,
Mm,
because there's that exponential change of darkness to light. It happens really
yeah,
fast.
right.
It's so dark in December and January, and then all of a sudden March comes, and it's sort of like there's this hope that ignites people, and it's the same cyclical motion every year. Like there's this sort of people's spirits are so,
Like dampened.
well, yes, well, I mean, it's just different.
Mm,
Yeah, different people are more introspective. They write a lot, and they create a lot, and they produce a lot in the wintertime. But then in the summertime, it's just like the cows that go out in spring. It's just like they waken up.
right. I
And so
see.
there's not a lot of productivity. I wouldn't say that product product productivity. It doesn't
Yes.
productivity. It
Productive. Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't. People are sort of, but their spirits awaken, and right
Right.
now it's sort of the height. I would say, yeah, it's the high point of summer. Um,
Oh,
yeah, no, I mean it's a nice town. People are, it's different. Yeah, it's just it's hard to say whether there's anything that that has the same quality. I don't know. I don't know if people have the same. You know how that question is like when people talk about countries, like there's some sort of a unifying quality about the people.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah, there's like a, I don't want to say a stereotype, but like a yeah, like a cultural identity or something, or a cultural
Yeah,
vibe or something like that.
yeah. No, I have a hard. I mean, I have a hard time with putting that together. But yeah, no, yeah, it's a beautiful town. You should. It's lovely. Where are you? Where you are on the West Coast? You said.
I live in Los Angeles, but right now I'm in Montana.
Hmm.
And because I grew up in Montana.
Hmm. That's north of Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. It's essentially it's on the Canadian border, and it's two
Ah.
states in from the Pacific Ocean. So it's basically Washington. So it's all on the Canadian border. You have Washington, Idaho, then Montana.
Oh, you're in the state of Montana.
Yeah, state of Montana.
Ah, cool. But you live in. But yeah, I see you work in Los Angeles, and
Yeah.
then now it's sort of downtime. You go back to basically your hometown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is where I grew up, and my mom still lives here, so I come back here. I try to come back. She's older now, so I try to come back, and I don't have brothers or sisters, and my dad passed away 14 years ago.
Mhm.
So I have to, and because she's getting older, I go back more often to visit.
Mhm.
So I try to come back maybe once. I try to come back once a month, but sometimes it ends up being once every month and a half.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, so yeah, that this is, I just got here yesterday.
And the nature is probably very beautiful there, right? It's like
Oh my gosh.
mountains and stuff like that.
Yes, it's gorgeous. It really is beautiful. There's not that many people here. I mean, there are less than 1 million people, and the
Huh.
state is about the size of Germany.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's massive.
And 1 million people that live in Montana.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my God, that's like
yeah,
that's a lot of space for the people.
yeah. It is a lot of space. People go outdoors a lot, and it's very American, in many ways. Like everyone
Mhm.
drives giant pickup trucks, and
Mhm.
they go hunting, and they have like their little
Mhm.
quad runner 4-wheel little
Okay.
vehicles that they ride
Right.
on top of, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of meat and potato. It's
Mhm.
very guns, lots of guns, but but
Yeah.
the people are very, I'd say in general, as long as you treat people with respect, they're actually very, very nice people.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I mean, that's that's the unifying quality of the Americans. They are
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah, they can be nice. I mean, I'm glad that that's one way that you see it, because there's definitely
It's-
a lot of terrible behavior.
but okay, let's talk about the cultural, identity,
Yeah.
or even the psychological identity of different, worlds. What I admire, uh, and this is what my friend that I told you about, who lived in New York, and is, you know, um, he's actually Swiss, but he
Okay.
worked in New York. Um, he said, because he just moved to Iceland, and he said that the Americans like to keep it fluff.
Keep it
Is
fluff.
that something that you
What?
recognize?
What?
Keep it
Keep
fluff.
it fluff. What does that mean? What does fluff
I
mean?
don't know. Well, basically, it's keeping it on.
Keep it light.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because here, from what I understand, that's my is that the personal space is, people ignite your personal space in a way, it becomes a little, the communication becomes a little more intense, maybe
Yeah.
deeper, whatever, but
Yeah.
or more but it's more intense, and it can be a little bit challenging and takes a lot of energy. I think when I say, whenever I've been to Iceland, or whenever I've gone to the states outside of New York or LA, which has been very seldom, people are very they're very good people. They're very nice. But it's,
Hmm.
I suppose that's the good things about, keeping it fluff, is that
Yeah.
it's just it makes your existence a little lighter, but necessarily you don't there's not necessarily not as strong emotions, but like
Yeah.
emotions aren't always beneficial.
Yes, I mean, I think there's a fine line. I mean, I have a lot of Scandinavian friends and some Icelandic friends, and generally, and even like German friends, especially the Dutch. Like there's a kind of a practicality about living life that
Hmm.
is very like a Dutch friend what doesn't understand if why you just don't say what you mean.
Hmm.
Whereas in the United States, you might try to dance around the feeling that you have, uh,
Hmm.
as opposed to just saying directly
Hmm.
what it is that you mean.
Hmm.
And they don't really understand that. Or my German friends are like, I don't understand. Why don't you just tell the person that you don't like what they're doing? And and like, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. I would love to do that, but but they just it's just an American thing. I think some of it is around fear. It's a little bit of fear in general of other people and like not wanting to get too involved in other people's things and so forth. But I definitely prefer the practical mindset because it solves many problems very, very quickly. And so in the United States, I mean, that's not to say that's like what everybody is like, obviously, in the United States. I have a lot of friends that are very, very direct and very like, boom, what are you doing? What is it about? They get up in your grill or whatever. Or even like when I met Margaret, she was very super direct, and just like, oh, well, we'll go now. And we're like, oh, we're going now? I was kind of just throwing an idea out there. Okay, I guess we're going now to this
Hmm.
place that we were just talking about theoretically.
Hmm.
So so I appreciate that much, much more. I
Hmm.
definitely notice that if you go into smaller towns, people are nice, but for certain subjects, they don't like to talk about it because it
Ah,
makes
yeah,
them very
yeah,
uncomfortable.
yeah, yeah,
So, so yeah, so there is a certain, I think, in general, Americans keep like joking, keeping things light and so forth
yeah.
is true. Yeah.
It's you. Uh, there is something that I thought about as well, because you mentioned Montana, and that you can, like, Americans, so America, it's so it's so big that you can get lost in the set. Even if there is, and I was thinking about this because of the COVID thing. The central governance, the management of the country itself is kind of hard because it's so many different states,
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of right now here in Iceland, the COVID thing has been um, taken care of quite well, and we have a good life, and things haven't been so drastic here since the COVID. It's
Right.
uh, it's much milder than in other places, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's probably because the infrastructure of governance is
Strong.
quite, yeah, small, exactly, but exactly. And in America, of course, there's so much talent and so much wisdom and so much facilities to do all those things that you need to do to take care of the COVID thing, like amazing scientists, amazing facilities for
Hmm.
checking the whole thing. Anyways, but I thought to myself that in America you can always get lost somewhere. You can vanish wherever you are.
That's true.
You can
That's
get
true.
vanish yourself and just escape to the savannah.
Yeah.
The savannah. What do they call it? The savannah height. Is that in like
You
southern
mean
states or something?
you mean like Savannah? You mean like the type? Are you talking about there's a place that called the Savannah, or you're talking about
Savannah,
the idea?
Piero, the meadows of savannah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah, forests, meadows, the boonies, the
Yeah,
sticks. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
You can just get lost and escape reality, escape the world. And it's just, I don't
yeah.
know what I'm saying,
No,
but
it's
I
it's
think
true.
that's so fascinating about America. You can just vanish.
Yeah, it is possible. I mean, it's such a huge complex system, and to keep it organized and to keep it centralized requires requires really strong leadership, and unification, and people sitting down and working through things, and and unfortunately, you know, uh, yeah. What's this? Here's
We have a prompt.
nice. Yes. Oh, that's a good idea. I guess. I think I know what they mean. You should like to use a prompt silence. Oh, prompt silence. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I kind of have an idea. But I guess to finish the thought is that there takes you need a lot of there needs to be a lot of cooperation and a lot of communication, and unfortunately our politics have just gotten so binary on purpose, and just for very inefficient reasons. I'm a person that I rate things on efficiency, and and it's very, very inefficient right now. So you have these conflicting messages, and no one's taking responsibility for centralizing the ideas of what is healthy for the population, what is good for people, what should people be doing, and instead we have people fighting over whether they should wear masks or not, because it's a political statement. So there's a lot of, it brings out the gullibility and the naivety or ignorance to a certain degree of the population. And I'm not saying ignorance in a way that's saying like someone is stupid, but just literally ignorance, not knowing things. And then people taking advantage of that, and by hitting them on an emotional level, and that's what's terrible about I'd say the difference between like Iceland, whereas Iceland, I believe you what did you go into you went into bankruptcy, and then you like reorganized the banks somehow digitally, like something, it was like done like almost overnight, and and you solved like a major problem pretty, not easily, but like pretty quickly.
It's a manageable, exactly, and there's it's like a herd, they believe in one thing, and there's I would say there's a strong nationalism here. People, it's such an isolated country for so many centuries, and for that reason the inhabitants, they have an innate belief in the individuality of the nation, because it's an island.
Yes.
And it has its own archaism and stories and fables that are they somehow create an identity that is it is astray and from Europe or America.
Right.
So that's why there's a unifying thing about the belief, and maybe that's why things, but the people argue a lot, of course, but
yeah, right, of course. Well, you can't now. What is it that you do for a living? What do you do for?
I'm a musician. I'm a composer.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. What about you?
I'm a musician, comedian, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I do comedy, and then I do it's like it's like improvisation, basically. But I do a lot of music. I have I have a band that I play with on TV. Yeah, and it used to be called Karen.
Cool. Was that the hang on. Is that now I'm clicking. It's a late night TV in America?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. What?
It's the James Corden show, the late show with James Corden.
The English guy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. He's funny.
Yeah, he's really sweet. He's a really sweet guy. Yeah, he's cool. It's a great show, and and so I put together this band for that show, and I play on the band.
Oh, nice. Is I saw I saw the statement that he made about. It was beautiful. I think it was Black Lives Matter statement that he made.
Yes. Yes.
it was touching. I thought it was very touching.
Yes. Yeah. It was an excellent speech. It was really nice to see. It's just good to be a part of a show that, you know, takes that stuff seriously.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's very wonderful. But yeah, so I mainly do that, and I also do a lot of technology stuff. Like I work in virtual reality, like do performances in VR, and yeah, I just love technology. So any excuse.
I'm such a smart ass sometimes, you know. I somehow maneuvered myself into being a lecturer at the computer science department here in the University of Iceland.
Sick.
Yeah, I know. It was so, but it was like I was punching way above my waist because I don't know anything about computers. But it was a theoretical class that was called music, beauty, artificial intelligence, and chaos.
Ooh.
And it had a bit of esotericism in it because it was sort of on the nature of creativity and the nature of spirit and the nature of inspiration, basically, and somehow creating a mechanism that produces inspiration. So the theory was that since we are, you know, outsourcing technology or intelligence, or computers or artificial intelligence, outsourcing it to do the jobs that, you know, lawyers or doctors or heart surgeons or, you know, cab drivers or whatever, why don't we, you know, give them the holy grail itself, the one thing that humanity has, which is beauty and inspiration.
Nice.
So that was a theory, and then we talked quite a lot about symbolism, about poetry, and it was actually quite interesting. And I was sort of just facilitating these computer science students and creating something, you know, something that produces an emotion for the public. So I remember, and this was 3 years ago, I think, 3-4 years ago, and talks about, you know, there was apocalyptic thoughts about how, you know, computers are taking over the world or whatever. And it was sort of meeting that subject, you know, face to face, but in a beautiful way, I think, because some of the students made really, you know, some of them made music, some of them, but I was actually more centered around storytelling. I thought that was, so they created script, like little robots that made scripts. They took the whole oeuvre of Harold Pinter, the English playwright, and put it together, and they made a little intelligence that produced a scene.
Wow.
Like a Pinterest scene, and then we got these two actors, famous actors, to
Yeah.
I created a nice, like, you know, little meta situation.
How was that? How was the performance?
It was beautiful. It was like a dream, you know. It was just like it. I mean, at the end of the day, that creativity is just to you know, a poem should not be understood. It should be, you know, felt or present. You know, it doesn't mean anything. It's there.
Yes.
You know, that at least, and that's at least the thought that I had, that a poem doesn't have understanding. A poem doesn't have meaning. It is just only is.
Yes.
And it is there for us as humans to create a space or a context or a story around, and I think that's existence, and so I think in any case, yeah, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I feel that very much. I mean, I had a shirt made once, because sometimes I'll wear these shirts and I just like put phrases on them, and one of them was artificial intuition, and
Exactly, that's it.
you know, it's like you need you know, it's like computers. I don't know. I had the whole fear about computers taking over things and so forth. It's like, well, it's just a tool, and it's never going to replicate exactly what a human being is.
Mhm.
And if anything, technology should do what it was, what it was promised to do, which is to give us more time to think about the ideas of what it means to be alive. you know,
True.
you know,
True.
it's like the reason why we want manufacturing robots, or these types of things that take over these menial jobs or backbreaking jobs, is because frees us frees us up to think more about the universe and our place in it.
Mhm.
That's not the motivator for the main motivator of technology is, it's a capitalistic engine that needs
Mhm.
to be fed constantly. So the reason for it is not optimal, but I mean, the idea behind artificial intelligence is that, yeah, there'll be some jobs that we won't need call centers anymore. We won't need software, people selling software, things like that. It's like, that's not really important. It's not the best use of a human being. uh,
Mhm.
it's like we're all just I believe we're all creators, dreamers,
Mhm.
innovators and explorers.
Mhm.
That's what we really are. So, I think that's what technology should be promoting, but I don't know, it gets co-opted a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it does, and it just this is a process. This is a it's a road. We just continue on it. Um, and even we were discussing about love before, and it
Yeah.
was our first thing. Um, you could you could replicate that. You there are some, like with, of course, data gathering, and you could really touch upon deep psychological narratives within a human being just by implying them in a speech. And
Mm.
I mean, I don't know, I think you could, people can find amorous connections through, what is it, the new thing that is, face match kind of thing. And
Oh, what do you
I,
mean? Like the technology, like
no,
biometrics?
anyway, I was just thinking about it because yeah, if you start, if a person starts because everybody is now, they're all sort of texting each other. They're
Yeah.
getting they're getting sort of, everybody's online, feeling connections through online dating,
Yeah.
or they see they see a picture, they see an Instagram profile, or and
Yeah.
they get emotionally invested in it.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
you could replicate all those things and create a world where you feel those things, and you you don't need a, you just get excited about, I don't know,
You mean
I'm
like you're talking about like non-physical communication, like just through media?
yeah, yeah, you get involved, you just get in love with the fabrication of love.
Oh, yeah, like a virtual persona. Like,
Yeah, yeah, because like, anyway, love probably is, love, I think, is always your projection of the things that you love in life onto another person.
yes,
Sometimes at least.
right, right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, well, I mean, that's essentially social media is, the people who function well in social media, where their intent is to, I guess, get a lot of followers, or, or you just get a lot of followers. They become um, masters of projection. Like,
Yeah.
the images that they're projecting are very well thought out, and not in like I mean, there's like, that's a good and bad thing, obviously, but I have a friend, her name's Cecilia, and she's incredible at all these images. She does her own makeup, and she
Mhm.
makes her own outfits, and she's really brilliant. She's an amazing musician, and she is able to project images that are so incredibly striking and interesting. And when you meet her, she's just like a very dorky, you know uh
Mm,
artist, but
yeah.
she doesn't look like most of the images that she projects. But then you'll see her, and then you'll see another picture, and you're like, oh my God, like what, how is that even, what's happening,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
so this mastery of projected persona is an interesting
yeah,
de-
yeah. And the kids, they fall for, the people get,
yeah,
they're smitten by it. It bursts energy in them, and they
yeah,
say, oh my Lord, she projects this image.
yes,
They get sucked into the fantasy.
yeah, I know people, I mean, and that's what's so enticing about virtual reality and things of that nature. It's the idea that you can, through anonymity, you can become more free somehow, like by hiding behind a persona that you fabricate and project and make available to a lot of people enables you a certain kind of freedom
Mhm.
to a degree, which is, it's interesting to see where this is all going to go, because it's all new. it's I mean, the system isn't new. The idea of projecting an image, like, whether that was the 1600s or 450 BC in Mesopotamia, or
Mhm.
pick any age in human evolution, all the stuff that we're doing with technology is all based from that. It's not that much different.
Yeah, it's the illusory world.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
storytelling, like telling ghost stories, telling
yeah,
stories under the fire about a monster that lives on the other side of the hill, or
yeah,
or someone wearing makeup, or a tribal ornament that means something,
right.
so
No,
that's
it's a
all different.
no. That's the quintessence of human existence. The dichotomy of those two things. The
Yeah,
world of fable and story and enlightenment, and then the what we approach in reality. And
yeah,
the symbiosis of those things is creation.
yes, absolutely, 100%. But at the same time, like, it's like you have to, we have to keep ourselves in check with how we use this technology and what we're promoting, and so
Mm.
forth, because really, uh a lot of, I don't know, I worry about, capitalism a lot. And it doesn't encourage the best in humanity. it
No.
you know it makes, it's, you end up, everything is for sale, and and at a certain point, it's like, well, isn't there, like, haven't we had enough? Like, how much money does a company need to make? Like,
Mhm.
how much does Jeff Bezos really need? $77 billion? Like, does, like, all these things where I'm like, something has to rebalance, something. It's
Oh,
crazy.
this will, the level of it will never sustain this level of distinct, this distinction between the classes, and it will create well, I suppose you can see the brink of it right now, but it would be it would create a lot of social unrest, and then ultimately a civil war.
Yes, 100%. I mean, it's like we have the opportunity. We can do great things. I mean, the thing is, like, there's no problem we can't solve. We have all the resources in the world. There's no reason anyone should be hungry. There's no reason why anyone shouldn't have clean water. There's no reason why people shouldn't have a roof over their head if that's what they want.
Mhm.
Like, there literally, there don't, in the United States, there doesn't have to be a million homeless people in the street. Like,
No.
there are ways for treating mental illness and
Mhm.
all of that stuff. It's all solvable. But the problem, that we run into is just corporations are just like, we gotta keep growing, and we gotta
Mhm.
create tactics that keep people buying our stuff. And and that alarms me as an artist. I just want a world where people are exploring and having a good time, and figuring out who they are, and loving, seeing the world as a loving place, and solving problems through love.
Mhm.
And so I see I just see the behaviors and the way that governments function and the way that uh, money functions and all of that stuff, and it's very, 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 very inefficient. And so, yeah, I mean, we're seeing it now. I think that there's going to have to be some kind of a new, almost like a new, without sounding too idealistic, but a new like love revolution. Like
Mhm.
a revolution where people value emotions and people's happiness over profits.
Yeah, yeah. No, I believe that as well, and I think there are rainbow warriors on each street corner. So
Yeah,
so you studied music, no? You did
yeah,
you cool.
yeah.
What instrument did you study?
I played. Well, I studied piano from age 5 to 16.
Uh-huh.
Classical piano,
Cool.
private lessons, and then I played violin in the school system for 8 years.
Really?
Yeah, played.
Me too, man. I'm a
Oh,
violin
really?
player as well. Yeah, I studied violin for 8, 10 years as well.
Oh, that's great. Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Did
Yeah,
you
the
play,
violin.
did you play the double concerto by Bach? Daga daga dun kan 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 dun kan 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 daga kan
Oh,
kan.
I think we did play that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I remember we played a lot of Brandenburg.
Ah,
Uh, yeah, Brandenburg, and yeah, I think we played quite a few things. We played definitely stuff from Mozart, Bach,
mhm.
Brandenburg, Tchaikovsky, a few others. But yeah, I mean, growing up playing in orchestra and playing,
Ah,
I mean, playing in an orchestra is amazing. It's just such an incredible
I
feeling.
never did that. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm pretty sad. I've never played in an orchestra. I mean, I did as a kid, a little, like just a little bit, but not really, not a full-on one. But my
Really?
brother's an orchestra cellist. He's in the
Oh,
symphony orchestra, and I write, and I've written quite a lot for orchestra. So hey,
okay. What are your main instruments then?
right now,
Yeah.
um, I'm a, s- I'm a probably piano, guitar. I play a little viola. I'm a singer as well. That's
Oh,
why
nice.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm a singer. But I write music for right now. I mean, I was touring quite a lot. I've been touring quite a lot the last. Yeah, I've been doing this for now, what, 14 years? But I kind of stopped touring now, and I was in 2 bands, still am. One, yeah, like a pop band, orchestral, I don't know, band,
Uh-huh.
indie band, maybe, I don't know. And then a dance music, electronic techno music and we toured around here and there,
Oh,
around
cool.
the world.
What were
But
the
now
names?
now I do mostly compose for film and TV and
Scoring and things.
scoring. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really know. I tell the directors that my method is I put a poster of Harrison Ford in front of me, and if the music works for the trailer of Fugitive, I'm happy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love having the simple motivators.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
mean my partner. She's great. She's like this is a sad scene. It's like, all right, and this is a happy scene. All right, and yeah, like all right, this is what happened. All right, it's like I don't know. I believe there's a narrative in music that is so open that if you create a divine spark within the music, it will find its way.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, you just got to find the right angle,
Yeah, yeah,
and then you can see the whole world.
yeah, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really scary to me, like doing composing, scoring is, I mean, if it were live. I mean, actually, do you remember the movie Legend?
Oh, with my favorite actor ever, Will Smith.
No, no, no. That was good. No, with jeez, why am I thinking that? With Tom Cruise and Mia Sarah and
Ah,
uh, what's his name? Tim Curry.
oh, Tim Curry, he's cool. No, I
Yeah,
didn't. No, I don't know.
it's, if you ever get a chance, check it out. It's an amazing movie, but it came out in the '80s and it was a fantasy movie. And
Mm-hmm.
Tim Curry plays a character called Darkness, who essentially looks like the classical devil, kind of devil demon. and it takes place in this beautiful, fantastic world. But I decided to rescore the movie, but live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so for a comedy festival, in a movie theater, everyone came to the movie theater, and I just asked for a bunch of synthesizers, and I got a bunch of synthesizers, and I had some looping pedals and stuff like that. And the movie started, and I was like doing everything. I was trying to like do the music and then do the voices. It was so stupid.
That sounds stupid and amazing.
It was really stupid and yeah, possibly amazing. But I love that kind of stuff. I'm terrible at I have to be able to improvise, otherwise I can't like sit down. I used to sit down at the piano and I would write a song and I would write the lyrics and work on the chords and all that stuff. And then as time went on, I just got lazier and lazier, and then I ended up only performing when I was performing. Like I'd practice when I was performing, which is different style. But yeah, so now I use that for everything. I try to make everything an improvisation, whether it's a TV show, idea, or shooting something in TV, or if I'm a guest on something, I always tell people like I'm an improviser, so don't expect me to use the script. Just tell me what to go.
Exactly. No, I mean, if you can't improvise, you can't create. I mean, you have to. It's a flow. It's a flow, and I love improvising. I improvise a lot on piano, and I'm lazy as well. So I like I can't be like so hard for me to, because I just like to just get free and play and I get lost in so badly get lost in it. I just love it. And I got good neighbors here, so sometimes when I in the middle of the night or in the morning I sit on the piano, just go into fantasy.
Yeah it's the best. I mean, it's that's the one thing I do miss is being able to jam with other people. But I try to do it. I guess that's where I started looping, because I'm jamming with myself,
Yeah.
And then doing performances off of that. But I'm trying to do it with. I'm just trying to find a way to improvise in no matter what medium, no matter how complex the medium is supposed to be. I always try to figure out a way to still be able to improvise within it. And it's just fun. And I think, it's just fun. I love music, and I try to bring it into anything that I do. And
yeah, I'm obsessed by it. I just can't get my head away from it. That's my love, I just love music.
Yeah. And who are some of your favorites?
I don't know. I've got I got composers that I love, and then I got bands that I love.
How about bands?
I love bands. Well, I dig bands. I think probably the band that I dig the most when I was growing had a good effect on me. I was so lucky that I got to play basketball with him, because I'm a basketball player, and he came. He came. They came and played a show here. It's the Arcade Fire. And
oh yes, yeah.
And yeah, they're super. And I was 18, 19. They gave out their first record, and me and my friends, we were inspired by them, and made our band. We were inspired by the all the instruments and the different, just there were 9 on stage or 10, and just these different sounds, it inspired us, and we in my band, and we ended up having like a little classical, like a bassoon and clarinets and accordions, whatever. And I love that band. That had a great effect on me. And then they came to Iceland and played a show here, and they stayed for a week. And the singer, which I can't remember the name, what's it called? Win Butler. Yeah, he's my buddy now. I told him I was the Don Johnson of Iceland, and he laughed.
I totally believe it.
He said, "Where's your boat?" He said.
And your alligator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, anyway, he wanted to play basketball, and these my friends who are basketball players, they set up this game, and we ended up playing a scrimmage
Oh yeah.
together. It was so fun, and I remember I was it was I it was a beautiful, beautiful match. I got to guard him for the last point, and I sort of, because we were guarding each other, and I put down really cool baskets. Like, I was performing well, much better than I would have thought. It was, I suppose I had, extra energy or extra. There was a touch in the game that was, like Space Jam. There's a little magic in the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I put down this three, like a really deep three, and off the board down, and it's good things. And then we were just it was the last basket, and I was guarding him, and he's a kind of a big guy,
Yeah.
and he punches me down and goes down on the post, and then I sort of let him go, and I'd stop guarding him, and he shoots the basket, and he scores, and he wins the game. And then we go off the field, and we have a drink of water, and he's like, "Högni, I would have never done that to you. Giving me the last basket like that, I would have never done that to you." Because I kind of gave him the basket, and we gave him. He was so angry about it. Why didn't you guard me, you motherfucker?
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, why didn't you? You just were.
I said that's what I said. I had too much respect. I said too much respect.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, too much.
Sweet.
It was you gotta give offerings to the king, right?
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's tough. It's a different relationship.
No, I mean, it was kind of funny. It was just like, "I'm gonna give you this."
Yeah, Wynn's good. Those guys are good. I like that, music is kind of like the most universal savior to most people's lives,
Mm-hmm.
They need it more than ever, and bands that inspire me and there's a lot of amazing bands in Los Angeles right now that are just making me very hopeful for the future.
Cool.
A lot of
Yeah.
young bands. Yeah, there's like a band called Automatic.
Automatic.
Yeah, Automatic. They're like three young women, kind of post-punk kind of thing, but they're just really, yeah, Automatic.
Automatic. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I think it's spelled. I don't think it's with a K, but
With a
yeah,
K?
a bit Los Angeles Automatic
Oh, nice.
post-punk.
All right, cool. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, they're young, they're great, and yeah, there's so many. There's like a whole crew of like post-punk bands. The Flatworms is another band, Panther Modern, another band. There's like tons of people. Gothic Tropic, and they're all young and super motivated and very lovely people and very loving people, and and
No, I think it's important because right now here in Iceland there's a big pop scene, and it's a lot of hip hop, hip hop scene. But there aren't so many bands right now. But I maybe I came out of band culture. I when I was 17, there were all these bands from New York, like whatever. A lot of bands from New York, like these indie bands.
Oh yeah, like the Yeah Yeahs.
Yes, for example.
Yeah, TV on the radio. Yeah.
TV on House of Jealous Lovers.
Yeah, LCD Sound System.
House of Jealous Lovers.
Oh yeah. I know that song.
Love that.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Is that their first record?
Yeah. 2003. I saw them at a small show here in town. It was like mind blowing. Like just this sort of just the band culture, 5 people on stage, bursting with energy and passion. It's so important, right? It's and right now there's not so much of it here, at least here in Iceland, in the scene, because there's more about the persona of the image of a person. It's like, I am this person, and this music is more of a set design for me as a character.
Yes. Right. I see. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like a band. I mean, there's just nothing like being on stage and just attacking, with like a small crew of people. So it's like,
Yeah.
that reminds me. Have you seen Eurovision Song Contest?
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I saw did you watch that film?
I watched half of it. It's
Yeah,
not very good.
no, it's kind of
I wish they would have used more Icelanders. Like they got a bunch of like English actors to play foreign people. I mean, like I think there were some Icelandic actors,
yeah, some of them.
some,
Yeah.
but the main people are not, which is really weird to me.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's as an Icelander, of course, there's a perspective is rather different because it's like, I mean, they didn't have rucola salad in Iceland until 1998. The Iceland as a country, it wasn't ushered into modernity until 1945. Or not, there was just like Iceland as a nation is a teenage nation. So
Right.
basically, just the thought of like these little towns of Reykjavik, of Iceland, and the culture of Iceland, and just the idea of a big film, Hollywood film with Will Ferrell and Netflix, whatever,
Yeah.
being the center point of an Icelandic entry into the Eurovision Song Contest is just absurd and it's ridiculous from A to Z. So just that fact is just hilarious.
Right. Right.
From my perspective,
Yeah.
we're like,
No, I know. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, it's good to know because I saw that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, yeah, I wonder what Icelandic people think about that movie because it's just. I mean, they don't do anything bad. I mean, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything.
I had a conversation about it being not so, it being basically pretty shit as a film,
Yeah.
as a film in itself, and ridiculous, but also, funny in its ridicularity.
Yes, ridicularity. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's like I don't know. I'm like I'm a fan of like. I mean, I was a fan of Sugarcubes, Björk and Muum and.
I used to be in Moom. I used to tour with Moom, and I played a show in New York. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder.
Maybe you were there.
Well, I wonder like, because I went to Bergen for a music festival that I think it was Brian Eno. Brian Eno curated it, and I was one of the people. And I remember meeting some musicians from Moom, I believe. Anyways, like a couple string players or something like that.
The cello player, maybe.
Maybe the cello. Oh yes, the cello player woman, right?
Gila, yeah.
Yes, yeah, her and
Maybe.
or no, I met them in New York. That's right. I met them in New York. It was in Brooklyn, and I met her, and there was one other person, and they were in town for a little bit.
Cool.
And it was probably would have been like 2000, like 10 or 11 or something like that.
That's not so far off. When I was,
might have met you.
Yeah, we might have met. I was actually playing violin, so maybe we met there.
That's crazy. Yeah, because you look kind of familiar when you first popped on the stage. But anyways, we'll see. Who knows?
I'm not. I had shorter hair, so maybe it's.
Oh yeah. No, it definitely wasn't you.
I don't know, but yeah, no, I no, Moom is a good. No, it's a lot of it's the beautiful, inspiring artists with integrity. That's the whole thing. They have such integrity.
You're talking about the band Moom?
Yeah, well, just the musicians. Yeah.
Oh, the musicians.
I only toured with them. I toured with them in the States. I mean, we I remember I got this guitar. bought this guitar in Austin, Texas, on tour with it, man.
Oh wow.
It's like
What is it? Is it Taylor?
it's like it's a Canadian.
Oh. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's so nice. I have been playing piano so much in the last years, but I just started picking up the guitar again because there's much more in earth in it. It's like
Yeah.
I mean when you write songs on piano, sometimes it becomes too grand or something, too big. But
Yeah.
if it's strummed on guitar, it's just like there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
and I love country. I'm obsessed by country. You know that what's that song called? I used to spend my life out in a bar room. Liquor was the only love I've known. It's America.
Oh.
You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. And honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time.
Who is that?
That's a song. That's like an '80s country song that this country singer called Kris. Well, this singer called Kris Stapleton. He
Oh yeah.
and my friend just was in love with it and saying, "Listen to this. You should get more into country, Högni, because it's like." Or she didn't say that, but she just performed the song to me, and I was like, "Oh, this is." I love this song because there's something about the stories in it, and
Yeah.
so I got picked up the guitar a little more now and just.
It's great. I mean, I'm glad you can play the guitar. I've tried, but I can't. But I do love country music for sure, especially old country. And I really love Casey Musgraves.
Oh, that's yeah. She's amazing.
She's so fantastic. Like I would argue she's better live than she is on the recording. The recordings are great, but her voice is so insane. It's so good, and
yeah.
She's very inspirational, and I like that she's bringing that kind of a slightly classical, kind of an elevated version of country, like back to the days of Dolly Parton and Kris Kristofferson, or who's the other? He did a Texas lineman or Wichita lineman. You know that I am a lineman for the county, and I said Wichita lineman. Yeah, it's great. It's a classic country song, but it just, there was that era where people would dress really nice in like really cool suits with like little bolo ties and a nice crisp hat, and it was just there was a class to it that
elegance to it, like,
elegant.
And I was writing this song, and that's the sort of vibe that I thought, like a little string quartet with a like after hægt, after en fluid, and engin einhver rétt fyrir en búið. And I got this pedal steel guitar player who lives in Nashville.
Yeah.
He's an Icelandic. He plays the pedal steel, right? It's like a mind-blowing instrument. It's a magical instrument. Yeah. And he plays it like, it's such a dreamy instrument, and the innovation of it is beautiful. And we recorded a session where I did this song just a classic sort of, but it's a love song. It's a heartbreak song, basically.
Yeah.
And the last thing that needs the addition to the recording is a little string quartet, and to give it this little elegance, this.
Yeah. It's amazing. Like strings, real strings. It's
The
I mean,
touch.
it's like, it's beautiful. I need all that stuff. like all those forms of music. Like I love every form of music possible. I just think like music is people who say, oh, I'm not into, like, oh, I don't like heavy metal, or I don't like, black metal, or I don't like, distortion based music, or I don't like country, or I don't like, I'm like that's probably not true, because if you like music, then you'll like anything that's sincere and good. And that's just my take on it. I can understand why some people are like, oh, heavy metal, I don't, but I like everything from really distorted, gross, disgusting stuff to like techno, into country and classical and folk music and a cappella music. I mean, like, it's all amazing music. So why not, learn about as much music as you can? And
No, I mean, these are all Hyphenings of God. These are all presentations of the the spirit of man. There's nothing to not like about it. It's just expression in its truest sense.
yeah, it's true. I think people. I know we've been on for an hour, so we should wrap up soon. But I know that for me, it's like I like turning people. That's my favorite thing, is when someone's like, oh, I hate this, and I'm like, I bet you I can change your mind.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Well, Reggie, it's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. Super mellow, chill.
Yeah,
groovy. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm so glad we know the similar some people. That's good to know.
We have communal friends, and whenever in down the road, it'll be a pleasure to see you again.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I'll come stop by Reykjavik when flying is legal.
Yeah, please. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, man. You too.
All right.
Tusen
Ciao.
tak.
Bella ragazza.
See you, man.
See you.